It's Friday, and you know what that means. It's time for At the Box Office. We're now joined by our film critic, Julia Swift, to introduce us to a new show. Is it a show, Julia?
It is.
Okay, a show on Max called, let's see, Just for Us by Alex Edelman. So how is it? Do fill us in.
So Alex Edelman was just named to Time 100's most influential people
No way.
just this week.
Whoa.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm not surprised because this show, he's a comedian and it is stand-up, but it's more than that. He describes it as a combination between a play and stand-up because it really follows one story throughout, and that story is hysterical even though it doesn't sound hysterical. So it's based on a true story. He was getting a lot of anti-Semitic hate online.
Oh, no.
And so he followed on social media and saw that there was going to be a meeting of white nationalists in Queens.
Queens of New York?
Yes.
Okay.
And so he decided to go undercover.
Wow.
And he makes that hysterical, like laugh out loud. Like it really, there are a couple of tense moments, but barely.
Okay.
90% of it is just feel good, sweet. And it's interesting because Phoebe Waller-Bridge has been friends with him for a long time. And she says that, you know, he has this humanity and this innocence, and that really is what you feel throughout this. And so even though it's sort of this dark subject, he comes at it from this, everyone is welcome, let's learn how to talk to each other again, let's remember that we're all people. And so really amazing. It started, this stand-up special, and it's not really right, it's stand-up and it's a play. Started in the Edinburgh the Edinburgh Comedy and Fringe Festival.
In
which
Scotland?
Is, yes.
Fun.
Hugely famous and won awards there.
Wow.
And then it went to the West End in London.
What?
And played, and then it went to Australia, and then it was on Broadway.
So it's been a success.
It's been a huge success.
It's moving around so much.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And it's all this one story, this one opening up of his life and his thoughts. And it's one of my favorite parts, and I don't want to give too much away.
Okay,
but
no spoilers.
I won't. But it involves a gorilla and Robin Williams.
Okay.
And the meaning of comedy and communication. And humanity.
Fabulous.
All that in one joke. But that's the kind of stuff that Alex Edelman can do.
Wow.
He has a very unique background. He's from Boston. He's from Brookline in Boston, and he grew up what he calls modern Orthodox.
Sure.
His father's a professor, I think, at MIT.
Wow.
And he, you know, his brother's like an Olympian. So he's like the strange child, right? Who did something completely different.
Yeah.
And he really, you know, in this time of division, is someone who isn't like, I don't want you to agree with me. I want to be able to talk to everyone. But at the same, but you really are just laughing, like laughing out loud, crying, and then thinking about it later.
Sure. Okay.
That's the beautiful thing, like thinking about.
Thought-provoking.
So thought-provoking. And he's written for TV. He's written a new series that's coming out. He was one of the writers on Netflix. You know, these are dramas. So he also, you know, wrote for all sorts of people, and he did radio shows in the BBC. He's done all sorts of really interesting things. Most of it has been in Europe, even though he's American.
Yeah.
But this is sort of how we're discovering him. And it's really exciting to discover. He's just so smart and layered and interesting and thought-provoking.
All right. Well, you heard it from Julia. Thank you, Julia. And you can catch Alex Edelman's Just for Us on Max right now. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after